My fellow Cameroonians, I'm Dr. Thompson, international preacher, physician, politician, and publisher of Health and Development magazine based in the United States of America. I am speaking to you as part of my messaging during this post presidential elections 2025 in the Cameroons. I continue to say courage. There are those who want to judge you. There are those who are sending all sorts of messages from funny associations around the world, be they the European Union, the United Nations, that Donald Trump says is full of potential, but as of this point, not very useful. And so their actions have proven what Donald Trump has been saying. Because I have documented the fact that a former Prime Minister of Cameroon, Philemon Yang, and who is a stooge from the Northwest region, was part of the killing with the government, the so-called head of government nonsense that the messengers and the stooges are used by their grandmaster, who happens to be a member of many occultic, satanic societies in Cameroon, in France, in Europe, and the USA, as they themselves call their members to Cameroon for the things that they do. It's a historical thing that every time Cameroonians get out to protest one injustice or the other, they use the taxpayers' guns and bombs in the hands of soldiers who are paid with taxpayers' money to kill the same people who they are supposed to serve as public servants. These are very unfortunate happenings in Cameroon, but not things which are outside the behaviors of people in advanced or so-called industrialized countries. We know what happens in the US when people get to the streets to protest. We know what happens in Asia, in China, in European countries, and South America, and other African countries. And Cameroon is no exception. At this point, the post-presidential elections 2025 are revealing a lot about Cameroon. Some of us who are, in quote, leaders of the CPDM, and have been speaking against the corruption, the rigging of elections, and the desire to steal using terrorism, arrest of people who have already been proclaimed winners and installed in their offices. It's a common practice of the Satanists within the so-called occultic CPDM party. I would say this because, as an insider, I am aware of that, and I have been out there exposing these things. The United States government had sent their director of political and economic affairs at the embassy to my offices in Kumba, in the southwest region, to have an understanding of some of these issues. And I'd actually educated and lectured her on them before I ever ran away from Cameroon. So nothing is new. It's their method. And Paul Biya, who has been a parasite in government for almost close to 65 years, plays these games, working for his slave masters in France, in Europe, and other places. And, well, Cameroonians have decided that the time for change is now. And they are in their streets, as they say in the US, whose streets is their streets, whose presidential house is theirs, it's their taxpayers' money. It's not Paul Biya. Paul Biya is just one of the many millions of Cameroonians. If he likes, he follows the occultic statement of Montpellier, as he goes around dedicating the thing to witchcraft and the devil. But he's just one Cameroonian like the others. And that's why when he goes to vote, he shows his ID card. He votes like every other Cameroonian. He is not different from you and me. They try to fool you that they are very important or they are not. No, they are not. If they were, they would be out there doing businesses and doing other things and not being riffraffs who actually parasite on the government and they steal, they kill, they loot. That's all he's been doing all his life. And that's why he's so scared and shaking like a little rat. And to you, fellow Cameroonians, don't be afraid. The world is watching, and the world is saying that if they need to be changed, because they don't see how a 93-year-old man who has been in government that long, and 43, you people are so good to have allowed him to be president for that long. You can see in the United States when people are 2 terms, because 1 term in Cameroon is actually 2 terms in the United States. And it was his fraudulent methods and peddling of influence, whether it's financial or cultic or whatever, that made him to be tampering with the Constitution of Cameroon. He's not one of the founding fathers of Cameroon. So to be tampering with the Constitution of Cameroon and removing term limits, presidential term limits and all of those things have led Cameroon to where Cameroon is today. And that is the work of an idiot. Because if he had some brains in his head and he knew what leadership is all about, he should have known that by now there should have been alternance in governance. When there is alternance in governance, there are multiple, development proposals and projects from those who are campaigning and their manifestos, and the people get to choose. And so you see that leads to development. But when somebody wants to be president for life and then impose himself on the country through satanism and guns and blood, a time comes when, as the Bible says, resist the devil and he will flee. So we see how the minions of his satanic kingdom are already fleeing. And he doesn't know what to do. He's so confused, and I understand. Because the last time he came to the United States, we could tell that he's a very confused man, farting all over the place, talking garbage and everything. The world saw that this is not even a human being. Talk less of calling him the head of a village. And so that is the situation you are dealing with. And the world is doing solidarity with you. And the world is saying, don't be afraid. You are not doing anything wrong. And they will be held for human rights abuses, for killing you, for standing in your way, for stealing your elections, and for other abuses, which they will answer at certain times within certain places. But for now, we are saying that you have not, I don't see what you've done. If you go out to protest peacefully and they send people after you who are with arms and they are shooting you and they are doing all of that, they are the criminals, they are the killers, they are the looters. And when the public servants become outlaws, then the people have to fight back. And whichever method that you are using to fight, don't be afraid of those, their satanic friends and idiots at the United Nations, their satanic manipulative friends at the European Union and all the nonsense that they are saying now. Because the United Nations knew that Philemon Yang, that they made, a former prime minister of the devil's government, that they made president of the United Nations General Assembly, was part of the killing in the Northwest and other places. If the United Nations was a righteous, working, good United Nations, he could have never been voted in. And he went to the Northwest and he was part of the stealing. There is no way the Northwest would have voted for Paul Biya as president, taking cognizance of what has been happening there vis-a-vis the Anglophone problem. And so all the frauds working with the people of Elekam and the Constitutional Council that he puts his tribal Bulu Betie Wondo, another senile old imbecile, to the top, are all the problems. And so the world is listening to you. Those of us who are in exile, in the diaspora, we are watching and we are walking in the background. Don't be afraid. What you need to fear now is fear itself. And I say, don't be afraid. The change that you are fighting for is for all of us. And we thank you for it. And no weapon fashioned against you will prosper. And every tongue that rises up against you in judgment, we condemn. For where there is injustice, where there is theft, where there is killing, where there is rigging, the devil is at work. And you must resist the devil so that the devil flees. And that's what you're doing. Good luck.